How could one of the world's greatest adhesives almost be thrown away simply because it was too sticky? Most people will think this must be an incredible adhesive. The first people who discovered it thought the exact opposite. The discovery of superglue changed more than the adhesive industry. It changed the way it. But what makes superglue so different? Sometimes the greatest inventions aren't created by finding the right answer. They are created by observing.
Hello everyone, this is Ruhi here and welcome to Cross Section. So the idea behind this channel is that every object around us has a story hidden beneath its surface. And most of the time, guess what? We never notice it. But seriously, every crack, every failure, and even every breakthrough has a reason waiting to just be discovered. So at Cross Section, we go beneath the surface, not just to understand what happened, but to uncover why it happened. Because every failure leaves behind a lesson, and every story has another layer waiting to be revealed. So let's get started.
Imagine spending months trying to invent a new material. You finally create something different. It bonds instantly to almost everything it touches. Be it glass, metal, plastic, your laboratory equipment, even your fingers. Most people would think this must be an incredible adhesive. But guess what? The first people who discovered it thought the exact opposite. This material is useless. How could one of the world's greatest adhesives almost be thrown away simply because it was too sticky? This is the story of superglue. And it teaches us that sometimes an invention doesn't fail because it's bad. It fails because it's solving the wrong problem. Let's investigate. It's 1942. World War II is underway. At Eastman Kodak, chemist Harry Cooper is working on a military project. The goal is to develop a perfectly clear plastic that can be used in precision gun sights. The material has to be transparent, strong, and easy to manufacture. During one experiment, Cooper's team creates a new family of chemicals called cyanoacrylates. Almost immediately, they notice something strange. Everything starts sticking together. The material sticks to glass, it sticks to instruments, it sticks to anything it touches. For a clear optical material that they wanted, this is absolutely a disaster. The project moves on, and the strange sticky material is forgotten. Nearly 10 years later, Harry Coover is working on a completely different project. This time, the team is searching for heat resistant materials for jet aircraft canopies. Someone suggests trying those old cyanoacrylates again. Once again, everything sticks. This time, one of the chemists accidentally glues together an expensive laboratory refractometer. He expects bad news. Instead, Harry Coover has a completely different reaction. He realizes something everyone else has missed. Maybe the material isn't failing. Maybe they're simply asking it to do the wrong job. Imagine you're trying to develop an erasable whiteboard marker. Instead, you accidentally create a permanent marker, a marker whose ink never comes off. For a whiteboard marker, that's a complete failure. But now imagine using that exact same ink to label boxes, write on metal, or make permanent signs. Suddenly, the very property that made it useless for one job makes it perfect for another. The ink hasn't changed, only the purpose has. And that's exactly what happened with superglue. Its greatest weakness as an optical material turned out to be a great strength as an adhesive. But what makes superglue so different? Imagine spilling a drop of water onto a dry sponge. Almost instantly, the sponge absorbs it. Now imagine a material that reacts just as quickly when it encounters tiny amounts of moisture. That's essentially how superglue works. The liquid inside the bottle remains stable because it's carefully protected from moisture. But the moment it's spread onto a surface, the tiny amount of moisture naturally present in air or on the object triggers a rapid chemical reaction. The small liquid molecules quickly link together into long chains, transforming into a hard solid. Engineers call this process polymerization. To us, it simply looks like the glue hardening almost instantly. At first, superglue wasn't an overnight success. People had to discover where such a fast, powerful adhesive could make the biggest difference. Eventually, it did find its way into factories and in electronics, manufacturing, household repairs, even. And then came one of its most surprising applications. During the Vietnam War, specially formulated medical versions of cyanoacrylate were used to quickly seal wounds and control bleeding long enough for injured soldiers to reach surgery. Today, related medical adhesives are used around the world to close certain surgical incisions and wounds without traditional stitches. A material once rejected for sticking to everything ended up helping save lives. The discovery of superglue changed more than the adhesive industry. It changed the way inventors think about failure. The material hadn't changed between 1942 and 1951. Only one thing had: the question Harry Cooper was asking. Instead of asking, why won't this work? He began asking, what is this actually good at? And that single change in perspective transformed a laboratory nuisance into one of the most useful materials ever invented. The lesson wasn't that every failed experiment hides a revolutionary product. Most don't. But history reminds us that discoveries often happen when we stop forcing a material to solve the problem we imagined and start paying attention to the problem it naturally solves. Because in science and engineering, sometimes the greatest inventions aren't created by finding the right answer. They are created by asking a better question. And that brings us to the end of this story. Was there something about the story that maybe surprised you? Or is there another engineering mystery you've always wanted to know about? Whatever it is, I'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions in the comment section below. And remember, if you're someone who loves to understand or is trying to figure out the hidden science behind engineering, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on the next episode of Cross Section. Looking forward to seeing you then.